Life itself is only a vision, a dream. Nothing exists save empty space, and you are but a thought.
Imagine you're walking on a road and you come upon a fork on that road with a sign in the middle pointing towards each direction. On one side, it says, that is, and the other direction points towards that it is not. One road leads us to that which is, and the other road leads to that which is not. Parmenides as a goddess tells us that that which is not necessarily cannot be. Non being cannot be, because it is not. It is a path from which no news returns, for there is no way to recognize what is not. There is no actual traveling that path. What exists for thinking and being are one and the same. An example is when you're looking at something far away, see how that thing is firmly present in your mind, right where you are. Everything that you think of is, and everything you don't think of also is. That which is not is that which you cannot think of, for it is not. The goddess says, there is no way you will manage to cut being off from clinging fast to being. What exists for saying and thinking must be, for it exists for it to be. But nothing does not exist. She holds us back from this road of non being, as well as she holds us back from a third road that we mortals or humans have fabricated, a route that keeps turning back on itself, a route where we try to have a little bit of both, because we are too afraid of the implications of the simple truth that everything is. Helplessness in our chests is what steers our wandering minds as we are carried along in a daze, deaf and blind at the same time, indistinguishable, undistinguishing crowds who reckon that being and non-being are the same, but not the same. This road isn't really a road, but a back and forth drunken wandering from one side of the road to the other. So at the end of the day, we're all just hanging out at the fork in the road. There is a specific word in ancient Greek that was used for people that hung at forks and crossroads, and it's not a flattering one, as it was generally used to describe the dregs of society: vagabonds, thieves, charlatans, and prostitutes. This is where the whole idea of making a deal with the devil at the crossroads comes from. We are all these things. Parmenides is calling us vagabonds, thieves, charlatans, and prostitutes. We are these things because we refuse to walk the path of truth, the only path that is. So, what's up with this road? Why do we not go through it all the way? If nothing cannot exist and everything that is, it is safe to assume then that things have always been infinite, perfect, and unmoving. Because they can't have come from nothing, because nothing does not exist. The goddess says, as well as being birthless, it's also deathless and whole, and of a single kind, and unmoving, and neither is it incomplete. It never was, and never will be, because it is now, altogether, one, holding to itself. For what possible birth will you look for? In what way could it have grown? From what? To say and to think from what is not is something I won't allow you, because there is no saying or thinking that is not. She then says, the decision comes down to this: is or is not. But it has already been decided that the second of these paths is to be dismissed as unthinkable and unnameable, because it is no true way, while the other is to be allowed to be, and really be. And how could it be that being could be at some later time? How could it come into being? For if it came to be, it is not. The goddess here basically destroys any idea of creation and destruction. Nothing is created because everything always is in one form or another. Since nothing cannot be, being has to have always been. The reason why this is so hard to accept is because it's too simple for our thinking, rational, complicating brains. We love to discriminate between things, say that one thing is real while dismissing another as non existent. Our brains crave separation. In fact, we need it. It is necessary for us to survive and function in this 3D realm of the senses, but it's all an illusion. In reality, there is no separation between one thing and another, between what is and what is not, for only nothing is not, and nothing does not exist. And yes, this means that unicorns are real. After all, what is real?
How do you define real? If you're talking about what you can feel, what you can smell, what you can taste and see, then real is simply electrical signals interpreted by your brain.
And this isn't a hippie notion of everything is one, something that everyone likes to say these days without real cognizance of it. We are all one. Sounds nice. But in reality, it just means that by me looking at you, you are already within me because I perceive you in my body, my brain. And oneness isn't something to be found elsewhere. Just as existence isn't somewhere else separate from us. It's right where you are, right now. The only criterion of reality is thinking and perception. I wouldn't exist without you perceiving me. Wherever you are right now, looking out the window or watching this video, this is the center of reality, and your thoughts are its edges. You can travel to the other side of the world and not actually move anywhere. Everything just happens in your consciousness. And that consciousness never moves. It was never born. It's always the same. It doesn't get old. And it's never been young. For it's always just is. It, or you, are exactly where you will always be. This thought is terrifying. All our lives we look for any proof of immortality. We hope that there is a life after this one that keeps going until you realize that you will always be here, forever now. But the you that you think is you isn't you. It's also just an illusion, a set of chemicals in your brain that make up your personality. The real you, this eternal consciousness, is the same you as the you in me and the me in you. This thought, this eternal thought, this being that we are part of. And we are trapped in existence forever in a way. We can't go anywhere because nothing exists outside of existence. And we will never cease to exist because non-existence doesn't exist. We will always, for eternity, be just where we've always been. And we're all alone, companionless. Because you looking at your supposed companion or looking at someone else, you're just looking at another version of yourself. It's just you, and you're all alone in this reality. So walking this path isn't easy, because we have to accept everything being. It's also very generous in that way. It gives us everything there is. We just have to accept it. But the last thing about it is that you'll notice that you actually haven't walked anywhere when you walk this path all the way through. As with all initiations, you just ended up right where you started. We're always at the fork in the road, like everyone else. Nothing's changed, yet nothing will ever be the same. In reality, I should just scratch this masterpiece of a drawing that I've made and just draw a circle with a dot in the middle, an infinitely expanding universe with an infinitely, eternally contracting point, interacting with each other. And you are that point. You are the center of this infinitely expanding universe, forever now. Unlike everyone else at the fork in the road, though, who are running up and down and not knowing what the hell is going on, thinking they are free to choose between existence and non-existence, you can rest easy and find freedom in the fact that you now know full well that you are eternally trapped, existing, being, just the one being, thinking itself. This brings a totally different kind of awareness about you and the world that can either make you or break you. And that is the only real decision you will ever make.